What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. Today I want to talk about my PvP builds as well as my climb into Mythic Summit Arena. So this is, once again, if you watch my tier list, this is going to be focused mainly on the real-time arena, the Summit Arena part of the game, which I think is really where the PvP endgame, that's what the EWS was based off of. Because things like Ether Arena, although they are technically PvP, I consider them more like, you know, player versus AI. Your opponent just sets up the defense, but there's no one actually controlling them at the other end of the field. So this is a much different aspect of PvP. So anytime I talk about PvP balance, we're going to be talking about the Summit Arena. However, if you guys didn't know that this is ending in 4 days, so make sure you guys climb as high as possible. You could get a gold lattice for getting Mythic. Now, if you're just starting right now, it may be a little too late, but just keep that in mind for next season. I actually do think Mythic is achievable, not ending Mythic, but you know, just reaching Mythic sometime is definitely achievable for a lot of y'all watching. You don't need giga speed, and in fact, this video might help those of you that don't play super high speed. Additionally, we will be going for the frame at the end of the season. Just if you haven't seen this too, just getting like, I think, what is it, like top 200 or something, we'll get a frame. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go for it. We are currently, I think, let's see, rank 172 here in Arena. So we just got to maintain that spot. And then in Summit Arena, we're going to try to push up to Mythic and maintain a, you know, at least get into Mythic for that 1 gold lattice as well. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and talk about PvP as well as my builds, which are more focused on the turn 2, the Bruiser kind of tank down playstyle. All right, I think the best way to go about this video is to maybe take a look at some of my replays, and then we're going to go show some footage, as well as at the end, I'll show all my units, shells, and why I built them in a certain way, as well as recommendations for you guys to kind of pick up this style as well. So we are currently in the master rank with a pretty good win rate of 74%. Now on my climb to master, guys, I do expect this to drop quite a bit, but I believe as long as you're above 50%, you can continually climb, right? And I think that's how the game makes sense. Most of these RTA competitive games, as long as you're above 50%, you will continue to climb. But yeah, let's go ahead and just check out some of these replays, and I'll talk about the builds at the end of the video. Okay, let's quickly talk about the units that I have built and ready for PvP, and don't worry, I will show their full gears and shells at the end of the video, but I just want to talk about the game plan before we watch the replay, so you kind of understand what I'm going for my own Bruiser turn 2 playstyle. I have let's talk about the DPS first. I have my Tiamat, my Rahu. These are going to be my two go-tos when I'm, you know, bringing healers and trying to fight either Revelation users, cleavers, or even other Bruisers, depending on what they bring. Rahu typically is what I'll use against to fight other like Tiamats and other Bruiser comps, because I think he does scale very well, especially the longer the match goes. My other two DPS is going to be Yelly, and this is actually a Bloodbath Yelly, and this is going to be very relevant, so take note. Write that down, write that down! A lot of times you see people on pure damage Yellies or maybe fast Yellies. I've actually swapped to this build recently, and I'll show the stats at the end, but I will explain this build real fast. It is Bloodbath with momentum just for the crit chance and the Fury Edge. So we still have a very healthy amount of attack, and the crit rate is at 70. Honestly, if I could get the crit rate higher, that might be a play, because there are times you want to hold your S3 or your silence or something happens, and you know, you might need that extra crit. But for now, I think this build is very nice, and it's meant to fight this unit here that I also use, and that is the Hoyan. And you'll see, I'll probably pick one of my first matches to highlight both, you know, me against Hoyans as well as me using Hoyans against Yelly. That's going to be a very important interaction, not just for turn 2 Bruisers, but just in general for the game right now, since Yelly is a very prominent, her and Messiah are like the apex premier characters for DPS, especially AoE DPS. You want to understand this interaction. I do have a Hoyan built for the supports. Let's talk about the healers first. I have Ling Low, and I actually swapped this off a faster build with Bulwark, and my chat actually helped me decide we tried out a Lighthouse build with some effect resist. So we actually stacked 40% effect resist on top of what we have here, and that gives us a healthy amount to shrug off, you know, most effect accuracy characters in the game, but some of them still do land, of course, because, you know, we're not super high. We're sitting above 200 at least at the start of the match, but this does help a lot. And additionally, being around 250 speed will help us with the Lighthouse push. That means we can cut in ahead of a lot of other units and start giving either immunity or some healing as needed. Next up, I do want to talk about the Fusho. It's a very similar idea. This is a much faster Fusho on Bloodbath again. You'll notice a lot of my units, if not most of them, are on Bloodbath, because if you're a turn 2, if you're a Bruiser playstyle, you need to be on Bloodbath to survive against the Revelations, against the Messiahs, against the Yellies. You need this bulk to live. Guys, if you get outsped, you will be dying unless you are on Bloodbath, depending on the situation. I will show you one unit that I'm not on Bloodbath on that you might be surprised. But yeah, Yelly fast build with the Lighthouse, same thing with the cut. We just want to get her an S3 to start start providing those barriers and that a little bit of healing, turn meter, etc. We have 2 more healers. Green Sonya real quick. This build I'm going back and forth on. Sometimes I have higher F-res. I'm trying now just recently for today. I'm going to try a higher health build with some F-res. Once again, we do have like insight, but a lot of times I can swap these passes around to fit other needs. We'll try this for now, but I might go back to a higher F-res build. I haven't really decided what I want on this Sonya. I think she's the most undecided. However, the fact that she is tanky and on Amber Bloodbath means she will almost always do her job regardless. She's really here as a failsafe against high damage Messiahs, against Revelations, and she's going to keep us alive a little bit. Last but not least, we have Fire Chiaki. Don't pay too much attention to this build. I just rushed her out. She's not an optimized shell. She's not an optimized anything. She's just a faster Chiaki, and this is just the break glass in case of emergency where I desperately need a healer, and they took some of my other higher priority healers that I just showed you. Last but not least, guys, I will show you some speed units. Now, don't be worried. I know I'm talking about a turn 2 tank down playstyle. You guys are going to see this Lily speed and you're going to freak out and get upset at me. Don't worry, the speed is not that important. Now, you do want to have an opener, guys. You do want to have a unit, not only just to take it away from your opponent. Isn't really important for Lily. I don't mind fighting Lilies at all for the most part, but I do want to threaten my opponent that if they try to, you know, not respect my speed, if they let this Lily through, I could interrupt their entire game plan, because a lot of them want to go first with either damage or control. And if they don't respect this Lily, you know, they might lose the game on the spot because they don't know my speed. The speed isn't super important. You just want to have some kind of threatening opener, and my secondary opener here is something like a Mio. I just pulled this character recently too. Don't worry too much about her stat or build. I'm still messing around with this. I barely got enough lattice to just get her S1. Here, S2 and S3 are not maxed. The shell isn't very important here. We're just going for something speedy, and really this one is to steal from my opponent, because fighting Mios for myself, at least while the Amber interaction with Wound is a little bit broken at the moment. I talked about it in my tier list video, and so for those reasons, I don't want to fight Mios if I can avoid it. So oftentimes I will take this character, one, to threaten them, right? If they let this character through, and somehow, you know, the fact that she's on Bulwark, if they outspeed her, but then they can't control her, if she gets a, you know, an S3, S2 off, that might ruin their game plan, that might interrupt their turn order. And so once again, we're just using these openers to kind of interrupt. But the speed, you know, you don't need to be the fastest in the game. If you guys just get a decent amount where they have to respect it, you'll be fine. Let's talk about the other few utility units here. Who are we missing? Things like Viper. The Viper build, I'm not extremely satisfied on, because he's kind of got my backup gear at the moment. But if I could make him faster or put him like similar speed with Strive somehow, I think that would be best, because a lot of times I want him to cut in before he gets crowd controlled or something and apply that attack break. Unfortunately, right now though, a lot of times he's really just the S2 damage mitigation bot, because, you know, he'll either get controlled or sometimes he'll even just die, even on Bloodbath. But for now, I think he's okay, and I do use him quite a bit, but I would like to give him better gear when possible, so that, you know, more often than not, he can at least get that early strip into attack break, speed break. Last but not least, what other units do we have here? We have things like the Casio. This is just backup gear once again. Sometimes if my other priority units like Lily, what's her name, Mio, gets stolen, and then my opponent tries to maybe tank out or go too slow, or I notice they don't have any cleansers or something, I will threaten them with the Casio, because this unit, you know, all of us have her built for Doki Doki. And so, you know, once again, if they don't respect her, if they don't have any cleanses, if somehow she gets an S3 off because she's decently fast, and you know, maybe she won't die super early, the fact that she's on Bulwark 2 might surprise my opponents. I really like this build just as a kind of backup. I don't use her super often as much as I used to now that we have Mio, but she does come out here and there. And then I think last but not least, let's talk quickly about Valerian. This is my same PvE build, guys. I don't change anything, but this unit can come in clutch occasionally. Sometimes I'll use her to fight the Hoyen. Sometimes I'll use her if the other healers are stolen. Sometimes just if I want like an attack up and I'm playing like a Yelly, you know, I think she'll come in clutch. But typically she's also one of the like third string units, so I don't use her super often. All right, guys, let's start with this match here. And this is what I was talking about with the, you know, one, I explained that sometimes I have to bring out the Fire Chiaki if my opponent takes some of the healers. So you can see here, he's trying to take the Sonya, he takes the Fusho. And the reason I picked the Tiamat super early, I'll talk about my draft as we look at more matches here, but typically I never start with Tiamat. She's usually on the lock, and I want to feel out my opponent first, and I'll take things like the Lily, the Mio that I showed y'all, maybe even the Casio. Ling is typically early regardless, because I think she's just very versatile in both the Bruiser and the anti-cleave or anti-control matchup more. But this one was very weird, and I noticed it's because he pre-banned Rahu, which is set off a red flag. And I realized later my chat was telling me it's because I fought this guy very early on in the stream, and he remembered me. I beat him with Rahu, and so I noticed something was up. So when I saw the Rahu pre-ban and I saw the Green Sonya, I knew something was amiss. So let's jump into the match. I'm going to talk about my Yelly Bloodbath build that I showed y'all and its interaction with the Hoyen. So as we watch here, guys, you will notice the Viper S3 is not super important. He's going to get some cleanses. He's going to have Doki, and then it's not going to be super impactful. However, you will see something interesting here. So Fusho goes off. My Yeli's going to take a turn, and it would actually be nice to proc this Hoyen now while she's attack broken. However, I don't quite do enough damage because we don't have attack up, and I'm on the Bloodbath build. But I do land a defense break on Sonya, and I did click this because this is my first target. Now you're wondering, Car, if I did proc the Hoyen, would be in big trouble. Honestly, we would still be okay, because watch this. So she's gonna get cleansed, right? So this is the attack up. This is the full damage. The attack break got cleansed. She presses S3, and she doesn't even do half of our health. And my Chiaki was right after. He doesn't have any other damage. And so I knew we were going to be safe. Even if we were to proc her, we were going to be able to heal up, and we wouldn't die to a 2-tap. Even if she S3 naturally, or sorry, S2, S3'd, and then, got her own turn, etc. So even if we did proc her, guys, we were going to be okay there. And from here on out, I know that this match should be mine. I do have the healing. My Yeli will far, far outweigh or outdamage the Hoyen. And from here, guys, it pretty much is all she wrote, especially once I cycle back into that Revelation Yeli S3. So this is why I think Bloodbath is very important. And I'll probably skip ahead and just show you guys the aftermath, because this is going to be a little bit of waiting, stalling out while Viper and both of us just kind of heal each other. But Yeli is going to win this matchup most definitely. Alrighty, guys, I picked out this next match because I believe it's going to be, unfortunately I can't see the pre-ban, so I don't know exactly, but I kind of remember this one, and I know his Tsukiyomi gets this boost, an attack up into a Messiah, and I just want to show y'all how we're going to tank and deal with that, because we're definitely not killing the Messiah before he gets to go. So it's going to be an unmitigated attack at Messiah. He does end up banning our Sonya instead of the Lily. That means he's pretty confident that somehow, my Lily, I guess Lily, I'm probably going to boost like the Kazuya or something, but maybe he has Bulwark, or I believe maybe it was like an Alicorn. Something's going to happen where I know for sure Messiah is going to play or get to play unhindered. So let's go ahead and watch this together. I'll talk a little bit about my my strategy in this one. So my Lily does indeed go first. He is definitely slower. And by the way, guys, I don't think Kloss is a great unit. So I've been saying this. I rated her low on my tier list, and this is exactly why. I just don't think she does enough compared to other openers. She is very fast, but even here, guys, even if she went before my Lily, I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. So Messiah here goes with the attack up, and he is going to get a big damage into our Lily. Now we might have lost the Kazuya, let's say if the Kloss went through, but I don't even think so, because we would have been able to sleep something, I think, in between. Anyways, the main moral of the story is now that he's gone through with the Messiah, the fact that our Tiamat is looking pretty healthy here is not the best for our opponent, and now we're going to be able to start controlling. Here goes the Kloss. She presses in S3. But now that the Messiah is able to get controlled and he has no cleanse for him, we're looking pretty okay. We do finally proc the Tiamat. Now, unfortunately, we do wake things up. However, from this position, it's going to be very tough for him to kind of, I guess, secure the kill, especially with Kazuya landing the skill 3. So I talked about the Kazuya at the start on why I like this unit. Even though she's not my premier unit, if they take other stuff, I think she is still good at interrupting the flow of the game plan. I'm not a hardcore control player. I don't really play only control, but you see there the attack break on the Messiah was pretty clutch in keeping the Kazuya alive a little bit longer. But honestly, as long as the Fusho and the Messiah, or the Tiamat live a little bit longer here, we just need to outlast this Messiah's invincibility. Now, this was very close. My Fusho ended up living. This could have been a very different story if she died there, because then I would have had to stall out even longer. And if we didn't get some Bramble procs, that could have been a bad sign. This could have been invincible right now, and I'm not sure, but I still think we would have clutched it out. I don't think Messiah had enough gas in the tank left, and we still had the Kazuya alive, but that could have been, a little bit sketchy. All right, guys, this next match I want to show y'all is actually one I'm pretty proud of. This is against Nareen, who's a very strong player. He actually won one of my tournaments that I hosted, and the fact that we were able to take him out here is really nice. I don't remember the pre-bans. I think my pre-bans are typically something like Heinrich guys, and then I want to get rid of units like Obol a lot, because when they have strips and then they also bring control, that can be a very bad sign, especially if you have Bulwark on some of your units and things like that. But let's go and just watch this together, and I'll remember as we go through what happened here. But yeah, Nareen, very strong. He's a mythic player. He's in one of the top guilds in the game, if not, I think the top guild in the game. But yeah, let's go and just watch this together. So he's leading off, of course, guys, always. I'm going second typically. And, you know, we do get some fortunate bulwark here, bulwark counters, or excuse me, not bulwark, bramble counters. And then his Yelly's going to lead off here with the twin trick. So this is going to do some heavy damage. Now, fortunately, Nareen is not on the bloodbath like my build that I showed y'all, so we were able to knock her out pretty quick here. I was kind of surprised. I was actually curious if this was gonna be a bloodbath Yelly or not, but luckily for us, we were able to secure the kill, and that is gonna be very, very good news. Now we're still not out of it yet because his Holden hits like a truck, as y'all see there. My Kazuya goes down without doing much of anything, but now our Hoyan is just ripping through him like a hot knife through butter. We get another kill. We bring back the Kazuya. And from here, you know, with our Tiamat being still so healthy, even though he, you know, does some pretty big damage with that Artisan proc, from here on out, I think we were able to, or obviously we're able to survive and kind of take over the match from here. So a lot of this did come down to, right here, I'm just praying that he doesn't get too many counter procs, because we could still, you know, potentially lose this. However, the fact that, you know, we have the Tiamat who is elemental advantage here, I knew even super unlucky counters that, you know, with our Sonya being so healthy, there was almost no shot, and he does end up yielding. All right, guys, this last match I want to show y'all, and I'm only picking this one because of Arahu, but I almost didn't want to show this because on stream, this Fabby guy got extremely upset and said some kind of nasty stuff in the in-game chat. If you didn't know, you could actually message your opponent after you finish the match. But yeah, I think we won, like, I think he kept rage queuing. We won like 4 games, and I think he either didn't win any or maybe he won 1. And yeah, he ended up getting extremely upset with us. However, I do want to talk about this match because I think this is another one where there's some control, as well as a Yelly that's going to be able to attack us without any hindrance, right? We aren't really going to be able to kill her before she gets to do her full revelation DPS game plan. Additionally, I don't think my resist build ends up working out on the Ling, and I think something goes wrong with the Lily here, but let's go and watch this together and we'll talk through it on what happens. But the main thing I want to show is my Rahu and why I pick him when they pre-ban the Tiamat. I'm pretty sure Fabby here pre-ban the Tiamat. I'm going to rip an S3, hoping to get some CD increase, but I feel like we missed on the Yelly. Now, we do get a Rahu assist, but that doesn't really matter because she's going to self-cleanse and she's going to do some damage. But yeah, I don't think the CD increase hit with the Lily, so she's going to be more of a non-factor. The Obol was on Bulwark, so you'll see here he is going to be able to stun us, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, he either has some high effect accuracy or he got lucky, and our Ling does get stunned. If our Ling went through here, I think we would have been much better off. However, I think we're still okay position, but you're gonna see here the damage. Here comes my lighthouses. I really like this this shell. The Terminator plus the healing keeps us pretty healthy. We probably would have been able to go with like the Rahu there again to knock out the Yelly early, but like I said, we got unlucky with the Lily and he got lucky with the Obol. But you know, it is what it is. So from here on out, he's gonna try to cycle back in. However, we win these 3v4. Obol on the Bramble. The Bramble Bloodbath is going to be just very tough for him, and when he's in this spot, all 3 of my units are Bloodbath. There's no good target, and if he hits the Rahu, right, he's just going to get Bramble procced. And so Rahu is a very, very tanky unit, kind of like the Tiamat, that is able to finish the matches out, and I like to use him in this match as well as against other Bruisers. All right, guys, let me quickly go over the gear and shells that I promised y'all. So this is actually my Tiamat that is not on the Bloodbath. I actually learned this build from someone who ended up quitting the game, but shout out to Drones from Demigods. Wherever you're playing, man, wherever you're at, I'm still using your Tiamat build. So guys, typically you'll see most Tiamat players on like a much tankier build with like Bloodbath Bramble. However, we went for a little bit of a speedier build, and we're still decently tanky at sitting around 44,000 health. But we have high crit and a little bit of crit damage, so we do still hit pretty hard. The main thing is though, we're very fast, and the fact that we're a little bit lower health, I think kind of contributes to the fact that we're going to proc these Ambers a lot early, and we're going to get some early Dragon forms, and it really surprises a lot of players how fast our Tiamat is. Do I prefer this build? I think if I had a much better Amber or Lighthouse with Bloodbath and I could up my gear even more, I would probably swap, but for now, I'm very happy with this. I am on a very high, we did get, you know, some pretty good passive effects here. But I think Tiamat builds can go a lot of different directions. Y'all could go Bloodbath, Bramble on either Amber or Lighthouse. Those would be my 2 picks. And some of y'all could even push like 50,000 health. I've seen some people go high crit damage. I've seen some people go like low crit, just massive amount of health. This is my build. I wouldn't recommend it because I do think it's a little bit different. However, I am very much enjoying it, and I'm not changing it anytime soon. Now, here's the Rahu. He did get a little bit of his gear stolen by units like Tiamat, by units like Hoyan and Yelly. However, he's still in a great spot with way above 3,000 defense. And he is on the Artisan with Bramble Bloodbath Cloth Guard. And so it's similar to the Tiamat build, guys, where I am on defense, crit rate, and defense. So Tiamat is on HP crit, he's on defense crit, and I think that is preferable. If you ever have to build 2 crit modules on your bruisers, I think that's a little bit too much. You're going to be sacking either the defense or the HP. So try to do, you know, double of the bulk, whatever their bulk scaling is. The Lily I kind of showed y'all earlier, guys, it's really a non-factor. It's not important. You can be slower speed. She's just there to threaten the opponent and hopefully draw out a ban. The Hoi An is interesting. I do think Bulwark, for me at least, is very important. And so I went for a Bulwark where we don't even worry about the momentum. It's just a Bulwark where I can get Harvest, so it's an 886 on Fury Edge. We want to maximize the damage here as high as you can. And for the Prowess, oh, sorry, let me go for the Prowess for the other 2 Bruisers as well. I did opt for a 144. So I don't grab this one in the S2 and I don't grab this one in the S3. I don't think they're mandatory. Tiamat, guys, I would say S1 is mandatory all the way up to here, and then I don't even have anything else yet in the Tiamat, but I will get the S3 just for the extra healing and a little bit of damage plus utility with the taunts. But I almost never even press this button, because if you guys haven't tried a Tiamat out, a lot of times this taunt will troll you. And sometimes, and by the way, guys, Fabi that I showed y'all, the person I said got upset, he got upset because he demanded I show him his Rahu build while I was playing, and I told him no. Even though if he just asked nicely, I would have definitely showed him the build, or if he stopped by the stream. But he got very upset and started, you know, calling me some extremely unfortunate words. But here you go, Fabi. If you ever watch this, here's my build. I am not maxed out. He assumed I was a maxed out Rahu. My S1 is not even maxed out. And then I don't think this is really worth it, guys, for PvP at least. For PvE it might be, and then S2 I have all the way up till the max, same thing. I didn't get this last one. I probably will eventually, but I wanted to just get more chances at getting the Wrath. But it is probably worth to get this, especially when you're fighting, you know, units that don't have sustain. But for now, I think I'm going to skip it. Where were we at, guys? The Yelly. So I showed you all the Bulwark Yelly build. This is attack, crit damage, attack. The Prowess is now, the Yelly is not relatable. This is my one build I will say, guys, that is not relatable, because I did end up, you know, spending a little bit too much money to get this. I did pity a lot of these, so, you know, do I regret it? Heck no. I love Yelly. I use her PvE and PvP. But yeah, this is not a relatable build. So some of y'all may end up dying like against that Hoi An if you do proc her twice. You didn't have that chalky damage reduction. You don't have this maxed out prowess right here. You know, you might end up dying where I would live. But if you get a Bloodbath build, I think you'll be very happy with her as long as you can maintain the offense. And then additionally, I did end up maxing the S1 here, and this is purely for PvP because there are nice things where I will steal like the Hoi An Soul Ward. I think I might show that in the clip. Just in general, I think being able to get this 30% chance buff steal, if you have a little bit of like effect accuracy, which I end up having to drop, but you know, that'll increase that chance as well. And then I think for PvE, it's okay too. But for the most part, you want to skip this, especially for PvE, because a gold lattice could be better spent elsewhere. Now the Valerian, I don't even show y'all guys, the same as my Inferno builds. Just check one of my other videos. The Casio is just effect accuracy triple with some Bulwark, and the Shell is Swift Rush Bulwark. Not even anything special. It's not even Inferno Jackal Guard. This is just more of a backup unit to threaten the opponent, right? She does kind of come in clutch sometimes. The Viper is on a Bloodbath Swift Rush. I talked about this one earlier too. I'd like to get him faster or on like a Strive or something, but here is his Shell. Swift Rush Bloodbath Evil Guard. Evil Guard we don't care about. We just wanted the Swift Rush Bloodbath or Strive Bloodbath, whatever you have. And then you could do Gigabyte, you could do Lighthouse, anything that gives him utility speed. I really want him to cut, so I think a Lighthouse build would be nice later for the extra healing too. But for now, I think it's fine. This is the Ling Low build. I showed this as well. High effect resist on this Lighthouse to try and cut and then hopefully resist some stuff. But as y'all saw, I'm still getting debuffed out there. So I might need to put even more effect resist or try to get this red calm and this red insight. Fusho is a similar one. I think I did show y'all this as well. But the build is HP since she does have HP scaling. And then, you know, get her very fast. If I could get her a little faster, I would. But she's at 280 right now. And the prowess is S1 max for the speed. This is actually very important too for the turn meter. And then I do have S3 max as well. Now, I don't think you need to max this out. I think she'll actually still be pretty effective, like without anything. However, if you don't make her super fast, you'll have to go like a different build and make her a lot slower. And I don't have a lot of experience with that, so I can't advise y'all. By the way, the Ling Low is just S1 max for Aurora. You need this for Aurora anyway, so guys, go ahead and just get this maxed out for PvE. And the fact that you get extra speed too for PvP, and this is just a very strong Whale Prayer 2-turn is very good as well. The Mio, guys, don't even worry about this. I just max this for the speed. I'm still learning to play Mio. I actually ended up losing a match because of my inexperience with her. But yeah, will put some more lattices into like the S2 to get the higher freeze chance. I think this unit is crazy in terms of utility, and if my opponent disrespects it by leaving it up, I think it could cost them the match. That's why I like her. The Fire Chiaki, we just maxed out because she's I have a ton of purple lattices, but in general, this is just a backup unit. I don't really want to talk too long on it because I'm going to change her build up soon once I get better gear or spare gear for her. But yeah, just fast HP, but you know, it's not too important because I believe she scales off her allies HP kind of like Linglo. The Sonya one, I'm going in between higher effectors, higher HP, but the most important part is to have the bloodbath so she can survive. And I like having a little bit of speed on her so she can cycle, because there will be times you want to revive and things like that. And then with her S1, you know, she does have decent cycling with the combat readiness. But since she's an SR, guys, try to max her out. She's definitely worth it. Even the S1, like I said, for the extra turn meter. And I think that is it for my PvP units, guys. That's about all I use. So if you have any of these similar units, if you have additionally like Doki Doki, you guys can do even better than myself because you'll be less weak to control than I am. But hopefully this helped you guys out. And once again, stop by the live streams to ask me additional questions and root me on my mythic climb. So thank you guys. Check out the PvP tier list as well. I talk about other playstyles, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.